Hello, Kelly. Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
James. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
welcome to You and the Universe, and we're here discussing You and the Universe today.
We
I
are. We are.
did Ted Danson's podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago called
Yes.
Everybody Knows Your Name. And we're literally sitting there talking in I don't know, it was a studio, I guess. He has a couple of people there. And we just started talking, and I didn't even know they were recording it. So I feel with you, it's just us sitting here talking, and that's the way it
Totally.
should be, right?
Totally. It's a continuation of our conversations during the day.
That's right, exactly right. Hi, everybody. So this is very, very interesting. How you been, Kelly? I know you've been down because you have shingles.
I've had shingles, and anybody who's had it, I'd like to know what you've done for it. Just put it in the comments if there's anything that calms it down or whatever, because the nerve pain is
Not
pretty
very,
pretty radical pain.
very painful.
Very painful. That's right. How are you doing?
Being human. I'm very well, thank you. Had a crazy, crazy week, as you know. Part of it's been crazy with people, drama, lots of drama, lots of human trauma, which we're going to talk about tonight. A lot of human drama, and it's how you deal with human drama that really matters. But it's a crazy time, as you
Oh,
warned us, and astrologically you warned
yeah.
us. And it's a nutty time and transformational time. Everybody I know is. You mentioned this before. There's a lot of people that are dying. A lot of people moving
Mhm,
on. It's
mhm.
in this time of the year too, like between
Yeah.
September through January, February, major exit point. Don't you
But
think?
also, James, it's a 9 year. So we come to the ending of a 9 year. Nine means to complete or to finish. And then when we start in January, which we'll talk about next week for our predictions,
Yes,
it takes off so quickly. It's a 1 year and it takes off. So you want to make sure that you're having endings when you have endings, that you have a really positive attitude. You want to
that's
maintain a
yes.
positive attitude.
That's exactly what I've been trying to do, Kelly. But
Oh, you and me both.
it's very difficult when we all go through these human experiences.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Life on Earth. We're getting doubly tested now.
Oh,
Oh, I've never felt physical pain. Well, guess what?
guess
Now
what?
you have.
Oh,
I'm going
it's
to excel.
being human. Yes. So we several weeks back, I was talking with Kelly, and I was bitching as I can do it once in a while, and it was probably because I was probably coming back from driving somewhere, and I was very, very angry with people that drive who don't know how to drive. In that, I mean, I had to really go through, as a lot of people do, testing, learning how to drive. You have to take a test, you got to read up on it. It was the whole thing, and I did very well with it. But it's you might I do I mean I'm a stickler for, but it's rules, it's regulations, and you're driving a motor vehicle, and you really have to be mindful and responsible because
Yeah.
there's a lot going. You could kill somebody, and
Right.
I know times have changed, and a lot of people use their phones. They're distracted drivers. So human behavior. So I want to do it. So to Kelly, let's just do a show about human behavior and how terrible and bad things can be with humans and how they treat each other.
Right.
So
Right. And that's
maybe
how
we should.
this idea came through.
That's how this idea came. So it's a bitching session. So forgive me, but I'm only being human. But it's really
Exactly.
interesting, and I always ask that. I ask you too: is it because we're older, or because we grew up in a different time period, and we were raised differently in
Yeah.
those days, and
Truly.
I don't see a lot of that anymore. I
Mhm.
discussed with my friend Peter, who lives around here, and it's interesting because when I grew up, it was a time, as you did, where, for instance, manners were a very, very, very big thing.
Oh,
You
huge.
have to say, "I'm sorry, I apologize, forgive me." I even to leave the dining room table, you had to be
Mhm.
excused. You had to ask to be excused, and you'd never do something that would embarrass someone or hurt somebody, or if you just, you'd be very, very sorry. I don't see that much anymore. I just don't see
I
that.
don't either.
And even coming back to driving, I mean, people just are so oblivious to people around them. Like, someone right in my bumper, and I'm saying, "Wait, two car lengths behind." I just read the book,
Right. Read the book.
and I literally rolled down my window and said, "Back, back." And someone said, "You really shouldn't do that because someone could have a gun and shoot you." And like, have we
Right.
reached that point now in our society? But of course we have. But I still do it. I still do. I want to go that. I'm not going to go that way, but I'm not getting what.
Well, you're old school that way, James. I mean,
I
manners are important.
Manners are really important. Treating another person as you want to be treated, being respectful, having people, being respectful of people on the road, but not only in the road, but also we talk about this all the time, every day, making a difference in someone's life, making
Oh,
a
truly.
smiling at someone, being kind, opening a door for someone. I can't help but bring my dog Pearl into CVS when I go there. And I do because they allow dogs, and every single person smiles. and it brings a smile to someone's face. And I partly do that for that reason. But I also, when I don't go with Pearl, I smile at people and talk nicely to people. And I said this man today, he was talking to some guy, he goes, and I love you, my friend, my brother. And it was his brother. And the man came over to me, wait on me to help me. And I said, I love that you use love. And he goes, oh, that's my brother. I love him. I said, yeah, but you use love. And you said, I love you to me the other day when you just met me for the first time. You said, I love you. I think that's really important that you just say that. Thank you. I think we all need to do that. Nice, sort of be nice to be. And I think humans have lost that sense of empathy because maybe the devices, the world we're living now, people connect to their phones and their devices and laptops and so forth. And that's really taken over from that empathetic part of being human, I guess. But I don't want to lose that, and I won't lose that. And that's why I think I fight being on social media all the time.
But it's so important, James, that you don't lose that, because that's what spirituality is. I mean, the number one tenet, if you will, of spirituality is to be kind. So there are people out there that will say, like, I know people that I know, that you know, that they think they're the most spiritual, connected, and so spiritual. And it's amazing. And we'll just turn around and stab you, or just turn around and yell and scream. And I mean, it's bizarre.
Yeah, but people say it to me, I'm very spiritual, or I do, you do whatever. I said, that's very nice. That's
very nice.
That's very nice. Because what can you say? You know, that's fine. And, you know, we accept people for where they're at. They're at the level that they're at, which you've taught me many times. And I say that over and over again. Yeah. But it's true. People are all at different levels. You got to meet them where they're at. And, you know, you can't judge the other person because really they don't know any better. They just don't. But you can live by example. You know, you can certainly live by example. That's what it's about. And I just, I don't know, even down to, people I always smile at people at a red light. And it sounds really weird. I live in California. We drive a lot in Southern California. Yeah. And if people turn and look, I always smile and say hi.
You do. I've seen you do it.
But isn't it funny if you have a dog in your car and the person looks, they'll smile at the dog, but if it's a human, they don't necessarily smile. But
that's true.
I make sure I do smile.
Yeah. I think the dogs are the ambassadors.
Angels without wings. You know, I think we also, the more we live, the more we in this time, we got to realize that it's a very short time on this earth, and these moments do count, and do make the most kindness of these moments, because there's also that rippling effect. You know, saying a kind word or a nice thing to someone, that other person maybe feels good. They turn around and say something kind to somebody else, and there's that rippling effect that takes place.
And just the opposite, James. If somebody is angry, there's that rippling effect as well.
That's true.
That's why it's so important to catch yourself before you go down that road.
Yeah, I don't watch much news. I don't. And if I do watch news and it's negative, I say, no. And I say a blessing, you know, love, God love, bless, love to that person, whatever it might be. I try to neutralize it. I mean, as much as I can, but we need to, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard school. This human school is very difficult. It's a school of hard knocks. Yeah, it really is a school of hard knocks. We have to go through these, you know, we talked about this last week, and often we talk about, you know, when we go to the other side and we learn these skills, we go to these realms or spaces or places to perfect various parts of our soul, expertise, gifts, abilities, if you will, skill sets. Right. And I think we're able to use them once we attain them. We have to put them to work. And I think that the best place to put those things to work is this physical world, is the human world. Come back here and put those things to work. You really can't work at them on other levels because they're not physical per se. They're more mental. There can be other types of energies than this human physical energy. So it's really the building blocks.
Well, and I think, James, along those lines, a really good challenge that everybody can have is to challenge themselves to be kind. Because it really is the guiding principle of spirituality is to be kind. It's everything. And to be kind is a simple thing. It just means being friendly, being generous, being considerate. How about that one? You know, focusing possibly on goodwill or empathy without expecting anything back.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to live in Laguna Beach, as you know, many years. And there was a man there years ago. I think he was Swedish descent. And it was back, I think, the 30s it started. And he would stay down on Main Street. And that's the Main Street, that car would come in from the canyon and from the freeway. And he would stand in the corners waving to people. And he was called the greeter. And they still have someone down there now who's passed, of course, but now they have someone down that still does that. They carry on, the greeter. And it makes you feel good when they come into town, the greeter there, and welcoming people and smiling. I think we all should do that in our own way. We should try to make, especially, we talk about this season, Christmas, Hanukkah, this season, the season of light. It's so funny because we really should emphasize it even more then. It should be all the time, but especially now. I'd say kindness, bring kindnesses out, because you never know who you're going to affect that way, because it might be somebody that you say something to or express a certain kindness, and that might be the very first time they've heard that.
Absolutely. And let's not forget something about kindness. It's a muscle. It's a muscle, and you keep working it and working it, and you may slip back. Keep forward with working on it. Do one kindness a day.
It's true. It's true. At least one kindness a day.
At least one a day.
Smile at someone. Open the door. Just a nice compliment. I find it really interesting. Again, I have to refer everybody to Southern California because I live here. Not that I drive much because I don't like driving, but like it just happened today. I was coming back and there was someone trying to get in the traffic from a driveway, and I stopped. Said, "Please go right ahead." And they said, "Oh, like surprising, thank you." I said, "Sure, you're welcome." And they were like. And you could tell they were happy. They were like, because I guess enough people don't do those things. I don't know.
No, they don't.
And we need to do those things. We need to be helping people or recap.
And a gal here is saying that social interactions are difficult nowadays because everyone is on their phone, James, and everyone else is, they're worried about their own, whatever there's going on in their own world right now.
Yeah, but you have to break their concentration. The best one for that is, which I found, and we've talked about this, is as I find a lot of people in the service business, right?
Oh, yeah. They're
in the service business. So I'm going to use an example, which I love, is the medical field, right? So I had to go into a medical, I had to get a checkup or something, exam a while back. And I had to go in to change the appointment, whatever. But, to get someone on the phone is a whole different world. Yeah. And I thought, well, it's going to be easier just to go inside. So what I did was I went inside the office, which is not too far away, and they're sitting there on their computers and not even looking up, and someone walks in. And finally I stood in front and she looks up and I said, "Hi." And she goes, "Okay, oh yeah, can I help you?" Just like that. And I said, "I love your smile. You just brighten up your face when you smile." And she goes, "Oh, thank you." I said, "Yeah, see that? It's great."
There you go.
and I wanted to say, but I didn't. But if that would have continued, or someone comes into a room to help you or examine you, whatever, and they give you an attitude, but like, wait a minute, you're in the service business. You're here to help sick patients or people that don't feel good. You're part of your job is to make it feel better. I remember I worked at a hospital for 6 years in different temporary positions. And no matter what department I was in, whether it was in the administrations, doing administration work or nurse stations, I always smiled, always made people feel better. Because it's a location when people are ill, people aren't feeling their best. So I think it's always fun. My friend Peter, who has cancer, you've been on the show.
Oh, yes.
16th round of cancer treatment. He wears Looney Tunes shirts to the hospital every time he goes.
Does. That's a great idea. How sweet is that?
People have come up to him and they said, "That's made my day. Thank you so much."
I love that, Peter.
They love that. They love that. My cartoons are so wonderful. So great in those days. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, it's nothing. It makes them feel better, though. And it's just something simple, little, to make people feel better and validate people that they count. So even when they're sitting there and they're just, maybe they're at a register and they're online, stop their concentration, break them, and say, "Hi, how are you today? Oh, I love your hair. Oh, whatever." You can make humor with it as well, because people. But everybody needs validation, especially now.
Yes, especially now.
Especially those that are working like that. That's hard. And I think that there's extra work for people that who are working, because not a lot of people are at those jobs now. They're working at home. So, or automated systems are taking over. Like when you go to Home Depot now, it's all mostly automated.
Right? Yeah.
Not many cashiers. So it's like, wow. So I feel like we get extra stress. So that means extra help.
But I think it's so important, James, that the message that we're trying to give out today of being kind and moving that forward is so important for the human race.
100%. And people often wonder about the macrocosm of how we change.
Right.
And we can change the macrocosm by changing the microcosm first. We first got to change our own attitude,
right,
our own atmosphere, our own fields. and then that'll hopefully ripple effect and change others. And again, by example, live by
By
example.
example, because everybody is going through something. Everybody.
Something.
Yeah, nobody gets a break.
Nobody gets a break.
No break.
School of hard knocks.
School of real hard knocks.
I mean, I've said that to you. I said, Kellee, when is it going to end? My God, it doesn't stop. It doesn't. I said it today. It's like,
no.
And of course, is it always Mercury retrograde?
Yeah.
Is it constantly Mercury?
Sure feels that way. Yeah.
Feels like quicksand. Like,
but I feel like it's a major, major test. Our souls are testing ourselves here. Pass the test with flying colors. Be good. Be kind.
I always say, wow.
Have compassion.
I always go, wow, this is interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I find breathing really helps. I find walking in nature really helps.
Very much.
Around grass really helps. Playing with the doggies and the kitties will help. I go to a pet store. If you don't have animals, go into a pet store.
Yep.
Go into Goodwill.
It's a great idea.
Yep. Help people with soup kitchens. Help them. I don't know. Help where you can. I have stopped and unloaded trucks for stores just for the hell of it because people were working there. I've done that work before. I do that. I don't know. Just I feel like it's it's funny. People ask for money on the street. A lot of homeless here too, and I will often stop and say, "Can I get you a meal instead?"
Yeah.
I've done that before too. Yeah. Anyway, you can just bring kindness and people, tell people you love. Pearl, my dog, and all our animals teach us wonderful things. You hurt a dog and they come back and kiss you and lick you, and same thing humans. Treat others.
So true.
Yeah,
that's so true here. Oh my gosh, James.
Well, I can't read my contacts, so I really can't read much of the comments if you want to read.
Okay, yeah. Kellee says the people who are here are starseeds and light workers and are usually aware, compassionate, and kind. Right on, Rosalie. That's very true that they are. I mean, we have
many are. Many are not.
Then we have to show others how to do this. And
how to wake up.
There are times where I think I'm being kind, and then I'm, I even have a moment, or you have a moment, James.
Yeah.
We have moments. We're human.
Also, Kellee, it's also the human experience.
It's the human experience. But on the whole, to continue to, teach others how to do something, how to be kind, show them. If they're not from around here, show them how to be kind. Yeah, they just had, so much trauma, they can't even think straight.
It's so funny. I said to my trainer today, I was working out with my trainer who's 30 years old, just turned 30 years old.
Okay.
30 years old. I don't remember 30 years old. And I said to him today, which I've said this before, I said, I'm going to tell you something that you can use the rest of your life. And he looked at me like, yeah, very cocky guy, thinks he knows everything. Well, he's 30 years old. I said, son, I do have to call him Skippy. I say, Skippy. He doesn't know what that means. I say, Skippy. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something that's going to help you the rest of your life. He goes, really? I said, yes, this is going to help you. He said, what is that? I said, remember, what other people think of you is none of your business. Repeat that after me. He goes, and he goes, I really like that. I said, you'll use that. You can use it every day, but remember that. He goes, well, it doesn't really matter what people think about me. Like he's a trainer and he wants his body to be great and everything. But listen, who cares what other people think? It doesn't matter. It only matters what you think. What other people think of you is none of your business. So if you feel good about your body and working out and making it look good, certainly you want it to be great. Don't look for other people's adoration because it's not going to happen. It's a falsehood. You're going down the wrong road because you can never get love from another person like you want it. You really can't. It really will never be that satisfying. It can only come first loving yourself. When you love yourself, that emanates out, and then you'll attract that love to you. But when you force it and get desperate and try, desperate, as we know this, we know people like this, and it doesn't work out that way. You'll end up with not a true love, I guess.
And know thyself. Know thyself.
Self.
It is everything.
I'm writing that throughout my book. I'm just writing.
Right?
Yep. Every chapter I have that word in there. Know thyself. Yeah.
Know thyself, and know that you are a soul on earth at this exact time, learning many things. But one of the things that's the most important is empathy, compassion, kindness. These are the main components for spirituality. So Adele Scott says she was just talking about lack of affection, James. This is a good one. She said, did you know that research and experts suggest aiming for 4 hugs for survival, 8 for maintenance, and 12 for growth? And that's interesting. There's a lot of people out there that are love deprived. Now, that's very true.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know,
All I remember, I don't know statistics and all that sort of thing, but I do know there was a report done years and years ago. Kelly, you probably know about this. That one negative comment, it takes like 20 positive
yeah,
comments.
it's
And
more than that. More than
yeah,
that.
more than
Yeah.
that, one negative. And in the brain, the human brain, supposedly, it's more aware of the negative things than the positive.
Yeah. It's all you could hear 100 positives and one negative, and that's all you're going to hear.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing.
is. And that's why you have to train the brain. You have to train yourself. You're on a mission here. The mission is to, again, be good, be kind, training the brain for positive thoughts. Because I will tell you, as James and I do this, we do our predictions next week. This period that we're in
Intense.
is intense time. And this is all about watching your emotions, watching the way you speak, watching how negative thoughts, you really want to watch those negative thoughts, because when we get to January, the energy will take that energy. If it's a positive energy, it will multiply it so much.
Yeah.
But if it's a negative energy, it will multiply that.
And easily, there's a quickening that's going to be happening.
Exactly.
Quickening. So
Yeah.
it does happen on a regular basis. There's all quickening of things that will happen. And I mean, now it happens, Kelly, you and I always say something 2 days later, it happens.
Oh, no, James, you're faster than that, actually. You're not giving yourself enough credit.
37.
No,
Page 37.
literally, page 37,
It's
boom,
weird.
boom.
I mean, I just thought about somebody. I said to Kelly, there's a certain lifestyle someone has, and I felt like something's gonna, it doesn't look good. There's something not right. And the next day, I went to a place, and that person, and it was like exactly what I saw in my head. It was like, wow, exactly. It's
amazing.
Like,
no, I think you're manifesting pretty quickly, James.
yeah,
I think you're right on that space. But Doreen says here, and I love this that you're saying this. Doreen says, in the end, only kindness matters.
That's right. Exactly right.
Really, Doreen, when we're on the other side, let's talk about that, James. When you're on the other side and you're having a life review.
Well, we mentioned before here with a life review you can do currently a life review.
Yes.
A life review, because you're in this is not our real world. This is a very temporary place, and it's a human world. We make it seem so real, but it's not. It's just made up of molecules that are certain held together in a certain vibration. At this level, but this is just make believe, because the real world is the spiritual world, which is a higher level of consciousness, if you will, and it's made up of a very mental world. So your thoughts are materialized, thoughts of things, and you are met when you pass over by all the thoughts that you created, all the ways that you created your life. That's what you'll end up with. There's a wonderful parable I told you this about a year ago. I'm going to repeat it tonight, if that's okay. It's about a man who was very, very wealthy. You'll remember this. Very, very wealthy. Peter came up with this, by the way. Very, very wealthy man, and he dies, and St. Peter meets him at the gate. And St. Peter shows him around. Come on, I'm going to show you around. And he looks around and sees gorgeous gardens as far as the eyes can see, and kids playing around, and beautiful spaces, and flowers, and colors he's never seen, and flowers he's never seen before. And we walk around and he goes, well, this is like so beautiful. The gardens I remember on Earth. And he sees all these beautiful mansions. He goes, wow, that reminds me of my mansions I used to have. He goes, yes. And they keep on walking. He goes, well, where's my place? He goes, down here. So they go down the curve, and they go down these steps, and it begins to get a little bit darker. And he looks around, and it seems like that mansions are getting smaller. And they go down some more steps, and the steps turn into like you could barely see anything. It was getting very dark. And then the pavement becomes just dirt. And the light goes down more, and you can't really barely see. And he's looking. And the out in the distance, and the houses are now little tents. You can barely make out people. He goes, what's going on here? And he said, where's my place? Where am I living? And he goes, down this way. He goes, no. I was one of the wealthiest men in the world. I had hundreds and hundreds of servants. I had a lot of money. This isn't right for me. I was better than this. And he turns around and he said, oh, God doesn't make mistakes. Come this way. And he goes down further, and then it's almost completely dark. And he looks, and then St. Peter goes, that's your place of residence right over there. And it was you could barely see. It was very small. He goes, that's impossible. How could that be mine? And St. Peter turns to him and he said, we could only build with the products you sent us.
Wow.
I'm sorry, with the materials you sent
The
us.
materials.
You sent us, which is exactly the way it is. You earn your heaven or your hell based on what you gave out on this physical earth. You create the foundation of your life on the other side of life. You create your foundation here in this world, and you will receive things in this world while you behave. You really will. You emanate love, you'll receive love. You'll receive things. It's karmic as also, but you're supposed to learn. So things might be held back a little bit, or things might happen here which are very dramatic, like losing somebody, or very dramatic. But you will get what you earn. We earn things. I remember the medium that worked with me, Brian Hurst, when he first started, and he said to me in one of our development circles, he goes, James, you get what you earn. You have to earn everything that you receive, and it's true. And I recently bought a piece of jewelry, and I thought to myself, you know what? You deserve it. You worked really hard, and you deserve that. And I did. So I bought it, and it felt good. And I thought, you know what? Yes, I earned it. And it's true. It's so true. And it's so interesting because, well, people will say to me, if you don't mind me talking to myself for a second, they say, you've done good work. You've done this. I'm like, yeah, I guess I have. Thank you. But it's work. It's my work. I know what I've come down here to do. And there's just so much more to do. But I appreciate that acknowledgement. But there's also, it's work. You have to do these things. We have to be kind. We have to do this, demonstrate love. I don't know. I find it hard not to be that way. That's maybe just me, and I've been.
No,
Well,
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
There's so much more work to do.
We talked about it recently, Kelly. That there's so much ignorance out there,
Oh,
and people behave so ridiculously stupid.
oh
So
my gosh. Well, and
because
here's a good.
everything, and they don't know a
They
thing.
don't know. Cleo writes, she says, I think kindness and empathy are harder to practice today because of the social, cultural, and digital pressures often push people towards division and self interest. And it comes down to emotional fatigue, which is very true. Yet they remain essential tools for resilience and healing in a fractured world. They are absolutely essential tools.
Read the beginning of that, please. The first
I
two.
think kindness and empathy are harder to practice today.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I think it's just the opposite. I think it's the greatest opportunity right now because it's so hard, because it's so divisive, because people are having a hard time. It's going to be better to even try harder.
More opportunities.
Yeah, you got to try harder.
I like that spin.
There'll be more
Yeah, you will.
to be kind. You're gonna have to have more. You're gonna have to show up more often. How's that? Because people
Yes.
and people, it's gonna be hard maybe to get into people because they're not as connected to humans. But they're because you're a light being, you will be able to say something in a way that will get to their heart. Remember, it's heart talk. It's their heart hasn't gone away. Their heart is still there. It's just been covered up by, I would say, the head. And in mediumship, I teach going from the head to the heart. And so we have to open up their heart more because they're all in their heads thinking. They're jumbled. They're jumbled. We get through the jumble. The first way to get through the jumble is to go to the heart. Love, humor, joy, amusement, kindness. That'll get to their heart. So say something loving, amusing. Throw them off. If they're so in their heads, throw them off. Bring them back to, I love your shoes. I love those socks you're wearing. That's so fun. Where can I get those? Huh? What? I always throw people off and they're like, huh? Oh, and then I get them bound to that connection of human
That's
being.
brilliant. Yeah.
It's the way you have to, nowadays especially, like she said, because everybody's so disconnected humanly and empathetically because they're so connected with the devices, which means they're much more into the intelligence, they're much more into the intellect, they're much more into the devices. So we got to bring them back to the heart, back to what's real, which is the heart, the love. What's the heart of the matter? Go to the heart of the matter. So if you're having trouble at, let's say, again, a doctor's office or even a store clerk saying, how would you like to, if you didn't do the right thing, or how would you feel about this? What do you think I should do about this? Bring it right back. What do you feel about this? Well, I'm no. Well, wait, hold on. What do you feel I should do this? Slow them down. Slow them down because the brain's working so fast. We got to slow them down. Pace them. And I'll sometimes stand there, just stare at them, say, "Yes, but," and they'll want to say, "Wait. I'm not. Hold on." And sometimes I'll come. I'm old. I need a little more time. You slow them down and get them back to Don't let them get them off that circle. They keep
Oh
them.
my God. I love that, James. And I've seen you do it. Right. Get them off that.
Yeah,
Now, Renee says, I've noticed how uncomfortable many have been making eye can't contact anymore. It's really hard to make eye contact. She said it feels like people have a fear of being seen as vulnerable. May we begin to remember the light in our eyes in the new year.
right. So, Renee, what I would say is like this great one. I was in an elevator the other day, and this guy's looking down, and hi, I love your eyes. And he looks up and goes, huh? I said, see, you beautiful eyes. I knew it. And he starts laughing. He goes, how are you today? I said, I'm fine. You open them up. So that's really, it's opening them up. And anytime someone is like that, they're closed off, I immediately go for it because they need that. They just need it. And if some people's reaction might get, that's fine. That's okay. You're not really caught up in the end game of it. You're just
right.
You're just being the example. You're just being that to show them that's possible, right?
Right.
So a lot of times people will not smile and they'll stay in that headspace. That's fine. We're not being caught up by the end game. It's just
that's very important statement, actually, that you're not caught up in the end game. It doesn't matter that part of it.
Not at all. It's just how you behave, how you treat another person is what it's about. It doesn't matter how they behave afterwards. It's you demonstrating kindness, demonstrating love, even at the hardest of times.
Especially in the hardest of times, right?
I've seen people before freak out, whether it's at a store, whether it's at a gas station, and I just will walk up to them and say, it's going to be okay. Let's breathe. How can I help you? We'll figure this out together. Is that okay? And they go, who are you? I said, I can help you out. I've been through this. I get it. And once you go on that level with them, I've been there. I understand it. They'll say, thank you. Yes, I can. They'll either say, thank you. Yes, I need your help. Or I'll be okay. But just the matter of you reaching out to them, it breaks them and it helps.
Well, and what it does is it calms the nervous system when you say, it's going to be okay. And you could be wherever, and that's a really good one to say to somebody. It's going to be okay.
I've stopped people like that.
Right.
It's okay. And another one, which is great, Kellee, which I've used with you before, and I've used with other people before, I said, you've gotten through it so far. We've made it thus far in life. Right. So the spirit people are really coming together, really for your highest good. You've made it so far. You're going to make it further. Look at all the stuff you've been through in the past. You've been through a lot of shit in the past.
You've been through a lot.
Your book, Kellee. I mean, come on.
Right?
You've been through everything. I mean, come on.
I've been through a lot.
Maybe staying out windows to, people driving cars almost killing you. Yeah. You've been through a lot. But many people have been through a lot of this human experience.
Please.
So I always say, you've made it this far, right? The spirit world conspires for your highest good. Huh?
Right.
You have a team around you and they know you. They specialize. You have specialists around you. What do you mean? Well, I think that there's no such thing as death. That whole conversation. So it's important. But there are specialists who know who you are, who know what your special abilities are, and they are here to really amplify them in times of need. Great stress and need. They're there especially.
I like that.
And we're never alone. We're never alone.
Never.
Remind people you're never alone. No. You're never alone. I remember I wrote about this once. I feel like I'm monologuing on here. I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
I wrote about this in, one of my last books. I forget which one it was, but there was a story where I was. I think I told you the story 2 weeks ago too, but it's a great story. Yeah. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I had no money, and I got a car for $600. It was a Plymouth 1965 Plymouth. I think I told you this. And it was a Saturday night. And it's stalled right in the middle of Highland, a fountain, and Fountain and La Brea, right there, right in the busy part of Silicon Valley. And the gas gauge didn't work, so I must have run out of gas. So I got the gas, but then the gas was down. I went to get the gas. I went to get the gas can, but I came back and I pulled the license plate down behind the car. I kneeled down. I forgot the nozzle or something. I had to get the nozzle. Didn't remember the nozzle. I went back into the store, and as I did that here, bang! And there was a car that went right into the back of my Plymouth. Because in those days, the gas was located in the back of the car behind the license plate, down below. I kneeled down, so no one would have seen me if I was not down.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
There was a man who was a spirit man who was a guide of mine, who told me the next morning you were looked after, and you were looked after. And if you go back now, you'll see your car will be just fine. It'll be on the sidewalk, and you'll be okay to drive it. But it has been hurt. And sure enough, and I went back. I walked back about a mile, and there was a car on the sidewalk, and I was able to drive it.
Oh,
Of course, there was a note, I think, from the police on the windshield.
wow.
But we're always help.
Talk about a team behind you.
We all have our team,
Right.
everybody.
We all have a team.
It's important to know you all have your team.
Mhm.
They're always experts in their fields. I talk about that before, that we get to the other side and we go for our skill set. We work things out over there so we can use them down here. But there are those in the spirit world who will work with us as guides, and they're helping us down here. They get their work by helping us. They're doing their job by helping us.
Totally.
That's what their work is. And when we're finished work with us, then they'll move on to another person or go to another sphere and do something else. But that's very important that we realize we're never alone.
Oh, not at all. So here's a question from Rosalie. She says, James, how do you explain that I've always been loving and kind, but I have had narcissistic parents who did not love me, and I've had partners who were narcissistic?
Well,
So how do you explain that?
Well, we're kind of boring if you didn't have something going
Right.
on, wouldn't it? It'd be a pretty
Right.
boring time. So narcissism. So it's you're learning a lesson about narcissism, I would think. And Kellee, you're the expert on narcissism.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What is you're a psychotherapist, so tell everybody what narcissism is.
Well, narcissism is when there's no empathy. There's just no empathy. It's a quick way to say that.
Right. So she would have to find her own self-worth by herself.
Well, and so what she says, how do you explain that she's always been loving and kind? What I find that I do find that, Rosalie, that happens, that you will have two narcissistic parents, and they're usually one of the siblings comes in with love and kindness, and we're born that way. You were born with this, you come in with this, but you would have chosen those parents to learn an awful lot, probably help others with that one.
And also she's teaching them love and kindness.
Absolutely. Not that they will get it. So you don't have to waste too much energy on that. Not that they'll get it.
I've been around a lot of people that are narcissistic and are in a low level of human experience. And I will say that because it's true. They hurt each other, they abuse children, the whole thing. I'm like, wow, it's just, I don't get it. But that's the level that they're on. And I've heard spirits say, don't judge them. Don't judge them. They don't know better. They don't know any better. And you're just around there to bring light and love and understanding. And it's so funny. If you judge others, and I've heard not only that experience, but other experience, when you judge someone, you're as bad as they are. You're brought down to that same level.
Right.
Because
It's very true. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I think that, I've known many a narcissist, and they are some of the greatest teachers I've ever had. Yeah.
Narcissist, and then I was recently with a narcissist who was also egocentric.
Oh, yeah.
And egotist and narcissist all together as one. Yeah. And a misogynist, by the way. Three in one.
Oh.
And that was a tough deal, boy.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough energy.
They speak at you, not with you, at you. They know everything.
Yeah, it's a tough one, James.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one. And especially if you are an empath and you're highly sensitive.
Oh, my God.
It makes it really, really rough.
For days. It just and it was only because they didn't hear anything, but they act like they hear things, and they don't.
Yeah, that's a full narcissist. Yeah, they just can't. They just can't get there.
I have a hard time being around that. I just do have a hard time with that.
Most people can't be around them. They're really tough. And that's where you learn about yourself. You learn to set boundaries. That's why they're the great teachers.
And that's sensitive and empaths that we all are.
And that helps you to learn about yourself. Know thyself. I'm too sensitive to be around this type of energy. And the other thing is, you have to understand it really is a real energy. That narcissism is a real energy that will come right after you. Yeah. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. About discernment between
discernment, exactly.
And that narcissist, those people can be very strong personalities. So empath might think, oh, I'm going to listen to them because they're so strong, but they're not. It's a narcissistic energy, but they can seem strong. And you got to be very, very careful as an empath, realizing that, I've talked about this before, that we're like radios. We're constantly receiving and giving off energy, receiving programs, giving off programs, and we got to know, we have to be able to discern between what is our own programs that we're running and not somebody else's programs that we're running. So you're on somebody, and all of a sudden you're very fearful of something. You're very afraid. Maybe you realize, wait a minute, I'm running their energy. They're the ones that are afraid, not me. That's not my fear.
Right.
That's someone else's. So we've got to be very discerning and know thyself to learn to know about what's our energy, what's not. Who are we around? Yeah, very important.
And we just got a lovely message from Janelle Campbell, our good friend.
Oh,
And
love you,
hey,
Janelle.
Janelle, who's in Australia. She says it's our innate essence. I think she's talking about, love and kindness. It's our innate essence.
That's yours, Janelle. You're the innate essence.
That's the truth, Janelle. That is the truth.
I'm
so excited, James. I'm teaching a class with her this Friday.
You're doing
this Friday. Angels.
The 11th. The 11th.
In the United States it's the 12th, and in Australia it's the 13th.
It's the 13th. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, so we're very excited. I love teaching with her, as you love teaching with her.
I love teaching with Janelle.
She's the best. Well, we're going to be talking about angels, archangels, and then I'm going to be specifically talking about Archangel Metatron and the 8th chakra, which I'm really excited to be talking about the 8th chakra. And we're going to do an angel meditation. And then Janelle's going to be doing an angel. She's going to be reaching out and doing an angel. What am I trying to say? Experience for everybody. So she's going to channel the angels.
I was going to say that Janelle channels, and Janelle is a star seed. So Janelle will be channeling star beings, and I know she will. And she's all set.
It's going to be so exciting. We're so excited. I love it. And we're going to be talking about what the angels believe for 2026 for us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be really exciting. So please join us. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. And I will be doing my writer's workshop, which is still open for people. If you're interested, please join us, because it's going to be a good workshop. I'm helping people with I'm actually helping Janelle. Janelle's going to take the course. Janelle, you're in the course. And
we talked about that, her book.
Yeah.
Boy, does she have a good story in her.
We're getting her book.
Help a lot of people.
You betcha.
I don't think any of us just, become mediums by accident, right? I mean,
I don't think anything in life happens by accident, Kelly. I think it's all meant to be. I mean,
totally.
Really, I think things odd, the twists and turns and ups and downs and all around in some strange way. And I'm a living proof of that, because when I first moved to LA, I didn't know anyone, and twists and turns and 30 different jobs and all over the place. And here I am. And I don't know. I just think somebody got to surrender and allow yourself just to be used as a vessel and have faith, I guess, and with it, because I realize it's a human experience we're having, good, bad, or ugly, or beautiful.
Right. We still are. I love this question. Wait, this is Fluffy Pancake asked me, Kelly, is Metatron connected to the 8th chakra? Yes. And I'm really excited about talking about that. And then Lisa says, I found it hard to label certain people in my past and present as narcissists, even though they have at least some of the qualities of narcissistic behavior. What do you think? I think it's a real crazy, it makes you crazy, Lisa. But if you are thinking that somebody is a narcissist, go up and actually Google the 9 traits. You'll probably find several out of the several.
Oh, I can't wait to go do that.
Yeah, there are 9 traits for narcissism in the DSM.
See and check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Always fun to do.
Well, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it, and appreciate everyone being here tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. And so look forward to your angel course and the writer's course.
And
next week we do predictions, which is always fun.
We're really excited about doing predictions.
Some intense predictions for next year.
Yes, but get ready, because it's going to be a quick ride. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, James.
Thanks, everybody. Okay. Good night.